Namaste. Welcome everyone today. Is it okay? I had this feeling because we met earlier today, no? And sorry, what is your name again? Huh? Satya. That is the truth. So we met, and Satya came and was talking with me a little bit and saying that she had really was struggling a little bit. What is happening? Huh?
Lower.
Huh?
Can you turn lower volume on the kitchen, please?
It's echo in the kitchen. There's going to be good seconds today. Okay, so very good. And so what really came across, she was saying, to be honest, I am really having trouble with the inquiry, you know? And please help me through this. Other things are going well, some things are happening, sometimes beautifully. I'm feeling these openings are taking place and so on. No? Love, I have a lot of love, I feel a lot of love wants to burst out of me and things like this. But I'm having some difficulty with this inquiring. So I felt, okay. I'm sure there are others who still have some difficulty in grasping quite what is the inquiry really about, or some such thing. And even in the days, I would say, I'm stretching myself out to say that, in the days when Sri Ramana Maharshi was in the body, you can say, many of his disciples or devotees, I think, would have had trouble with self-inquiry. And any other teacher, I feel, would come to share and to point through self-inquiry will have had a similar difficulty, actually, with it. And why? You know, in one way, it is so beautifully simple, no? So beautifully simple. And yet it can be experienced as the most mysterious thing on the planet. How it can be. That we just can't get it. We listen, we hear, but I can't. We just come to a point I'm stuck. I just don't know where we're going. So I said, okay, today we have to go again. We have to see what can be the difficulty, to try and explain what those difficulties can be, and to break through this. Why is it difficult also to use something which you hear me say, but it's so simple. It really, at a certain point, it really is like looking in the mirror to see a perfect reflection of your face. And you'll be thinking, no, that can't be that simple, because a mirror that's nothing more straightforward than looking in the mirror to see a reflection of your face. Well, in some way, okay, maybe not so immediate. Because why is it so immediate with the mirror? Because the mirror does absolutely nothing, actually. The mirror doesn't actually even reflect as an action. Reflection happens there. And what is so beautiful about the inquiry is that nothing has actually happened. And yet everything has changed. I don't know if I'm going to get in more mischief if I try to explain that thing. Yeah, you want to say something?
So I have to go back. It's not a story. Because I came to you like maybe 10, 20 years ago, and a lot was going on for me, money, bills, debts, all these things. And this was back in the time when you was giving one-to-ones, basically. And I was just like, yeah, but there's the debt collector, like, it was just, I was spiraling out of control with money. And then after all of that, I was just like, it was like a maybe half an hour session or something. and I just thought, it's just nothing basically. And then so as things progress and life progresses, other experiences, you get involved in life and relationship and other things, and I'm at a point now where I've left something behind and I'm just me, and I just see that it's just me, and these problems come, I might feel something, like you often say, you feel something in the moment and then it's gone, like you just have to deal with it in the moment. So then
so what you are speaking, I remember actually this time, because there was a time when I was just trying to get through to you something, and it just seemed like it just happened, and some space opened up, and life carried on in your own way. I was not there every day to watch that, but something had happened, and then, as you say, getting on, moving on in your life, something seems to climb back in gradually, and then the noise re-enters, and the way of thinking is all covered up again, or something like that. No? What came in probably is more intuitiveness, more spontaneity came, but that final realization of the self, whereby a complete change in the way that you perceive, and from the position that previously you would be meeting life from the position of personhood, that is seen through, and suddenly your person goes up on the screen, and you're left as the one not on the screen. You are not on the screen. Okay? And this is what I want you to understand today, to get. And we cannot do it just by explaining only. A little bit explanation is okay for now. But walking through the steps of it, I don't know. I have not thought deeply about anything what how today is going to go about. But to take a look, and starting, triggered by conversation of Satya this morning, So I felt perhaps we could go through looking with someone, or one or two or so. We'll start with you, though. You come for me, and we'll start and look at. Now, as we give it, as we begin to look again, first of all, what I will remind you is that what I'm pointing to, first thing, some pointers, what I'm pointing to is already here. It's not anything you're going to make up. It's not something you're going to believe in. That is how powerful it is, because it is no distance from your true self. It has no size. It's beyond the usual references we make of ourselves, like I'm a man, I'm 35 years old, I'm 70 years old, whatever it is. So it's none of these things, actually, because they pertain primarily to your body, to your education, to experiences you have in life. And all of that is like clouds moving along in this infinite sky. And what the self is, it's like the sky. What our story is like the clouds. And the sky is not moving along. The clouds are changing, light is changing, rainbow, rain, thunder, lightning, all these things are happening. But the sky has not gone anywhere as a totality. Now, which particular thing can we itemize to say that is the sky? The stars, the sun, the light, the clouds, the blueness of the sky, thunderstorm, which one? No, nothing in any particular thing you can say that is the sky. You can say totally made up of sky. It's a pointer, it's not complete. We're going to try and see what happens with you. So you came this morning and you started to talk a bit with me and remind us what it is, what happened for you, where you got stuck and what happens.
Now I just want to say that grace is taking all of this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not that, no. Still.
Yeah. Okay, so listen, grace is taking care of all of this, everything, including your sense of self. Yes, in the hand of grace. Yeah. That's already a kind of surrender to come to feel like that. That something, you may call it grace, somebody else may call it something else. But something, not my mind, no, not my person. Some power is taking care of everything. Is that what you're saying?
I can feel it's grace.
It's grace taking care of everything. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And make me feel like to cry.
Yeah, makes you feel like to cry. So even your crying also is by grace. It's included in the grace. Everything is the grace.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So where is the space left for the person having a problem?
And like crowd.
Like a crowd?
Yes.
Cloud.
Cloud, yes.
Cloud, yeah. But cloud is also the movement of grace also. Could we stretch it that far? I mean, even the cloud then is also part of the grace, also floating, raining along. It's also.
But I don't know who am I.
You don't know who you are. Okay. But you used to know who you are before you must have had an idea of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know when I'm person. I know when I'm mixed.
Okay. That's good. You see,
I know when I'm present.
I know when I'm a person, when I'm in the person mode. I know when I'm mixed. I know when I'm present. So whatever knows this is not in any of those categories. Could we accept like that? You know something means that I'm observing this thing, and then this is me now. I know when I'm a person. Yeah, this is the person me out there playing now. Okay, and then I know when I'm mixed. I know. So this is the mixed me now. Okay, I know when I'm present. Yeah. Okay. So the mixed is gone. I wasn't the mixed because I watched the mixed go, and now the sense of presence or present is here. This also I know. So,
And the grace called me to know him.
Grace
I
calls
don't know
you.
how.
Yeah. Grace call you to know grace. Grace calls you to know grace. Okay. So if grace calls you to know grace, then to know grace, grace has to help you to know grace also.
Yeah, there's I don't know how.
This I doesn't know how.
And I want this I to go. And I don't know
Okay.
how.
Okay, so I don't know how to do it. I don't know how. But still, something is happening. Yeah? You don't know how, but something is still happening. So it's kind of okay, isn't it? What would be the big thing? You don't know how. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I got here.
But this happening is concerning a lot of separation.
Huh?
It's concerning a lot of separation.
Sense of separation.
Yes,
From what?
from the person.
So which one is suffering? Who is suffering? Separation from the person, it creates suffering?
Yes,
For who?
for the I.
Is the I and the person the same thing?
Mostly.
Stop now. What knows that I and person are the same thing? What knows this? Something must be a part to know something. Just stay with me a little bit on it. Yeah? However subtle it gets. If you say, yes, the I and the person, they're the same thing. What knows this thing? It's the same thing. It is known. The fact has already happened. The fact is that it is known. It is admitted that that is known, that is seen. Okay? So, what knows this?
A mixed.
Mixed. The mixed one knows this.
Yes.
And what knows that the mixed one knows this? What is watching?
Must be the grace.
Must be the grace. Yeah. And you are what now?
I must be the grace, but I'm still here. The I is still here. It must be go.
Who is saying that it must go? Wait a minute, wait. Who is saying that it must go? Who put it there in the first place? Who put it there in the first place?
Logically, I know.
Logically, you know? Okay, tell me the logical no.
Logically, I know grace is.
Grace put it there.
It's the I said, but there's but.
If grace has put the I there with all the trouble that comes with I, and is it grace that wants now the I to go? Is Grace crying?
I think he wants it to go. He wants the I to go.
So Grace is suffering then.
The I is suffering. And Grace wants the I to go.
I think you're making this up. Grace is suffering. The Grace wants the I to go. The Grace is crying about it. For the I to go. We're just stay with it, stay with it. And you speaking it out is good. Because something is going to get untangled. You see? You see? Yeah. Why should the I go? Why should the I go? Why should the I go? Why should the I, which you call why should it go? Tell me, why should it go?
Block here on the heart. It block here.
On the box here.
Make this, my heart very bad.
But it blocks it from who?
There's energy here, block here.
Is Grace suffering this?
No.
No. This is what you need to know. And you are gonna what? You are what now? Where's your position in all of this?
I'm getting nothing.
You're getting nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. So then you be nothing then. You be nothing. You be nothing. Just be nothing.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Without grace, I cannot do anything.
Yes. But you are different from Grace? Are you different from Grace? You say, without grace, I cannot do anything. And I'm sure many people understand this language also. You know? Without grace, without God's grace, I cannot do anything. So you are what who needs to do something. And what is the one thing that you really need to do? What is the one thing that you really need to do that grace is not helping? Tell me what it is.
Nothing. The heart is melting.
It's melting, yes.
And Grace wants me to say this.
Grace wants you to say that.
Yes.
Yes.
To say nothing, everything is nothing.
Yes. And this hurts? Does it hurt?
No.
No. So what's the problem? What's the problem? Remind me. I forgot. What is the problem again?
The problem is the story. Now I'm watching it going away.
Yeah.
It's all a story. All the story make the suffering.
Is anybody else different from this? I mean, do we have a more that we don't have a story and or suffering is caused by something else or what? Hmm?
There's no suffering without story.
Somebody said there's no suffering without a story.
I don't know, but stories make me suffer.
Yes.
Maybe there are some other things.
Is it a story or is it the one who believes in the story? Is it a story or is it the identity that is holding on to a story?
The identity.
Yes. Because the story is just a story, you know. But the believer in the story, the one who believes in it, identifies, this one is the one who suffers.
Yes.
Yes, this is Shin.
Yes, because if someone else read your story, they might read the story and goes, this is funny. It's very funny. If they read your story, but you believing in your story, no, what's so funny? This is my life, what you're talking about. I'm suffering all the time. So it's your attachment to the story, you're identifying with that story, with that identity, in fact, that it keeps on needing to create story and more story and more story. And why? Suppose you did not have a story. Let's just imagine for a moment. You don't have any story at all. Remember we were talking playfully about this. One friend told me that, you know, the fishes have only 3-second memory. Suppose we had 3-second memory. Could you suffer with 3-second memory? How would your life be? Or even, I don't think memory is really the trouble either. We can keep the memory also, but just no attachment to it. No attachment to any story. Suppose you could not hold any story. What would be lost? I'm genuinely asking this, and I don't want to just listen kind of superficially. I really take it on, like, you have no story. You have no biography, actually. Life gives some examples. There are people who have Alzheimer's or something like this. And they have no story now. Other people have their story. People have a story about you, but you don't have a story about yourself at all. I've met a few people like this. Before, there used to be a lot of trouble and a lot of arguments. Now, nothing. Everybody's friend. Hello, hi, how are you? Like this. They don't remember anything, no past, nothing at all. And I'm not saying that the one who has Alzheimer's is the self also. Not necessarily. Or that the self is the same as Alzheimer's. Because you can have a memory, you can have memory there, but identifying with the memory so strongly keeps you in a state of definition. It keeps you in a state of limitation also. Like you can't come out of your groove. You're always in the groove of your own conditioning, your own mentality. You also protect it and feel lost without it. To the extent where we can't imagine to be away from our story or the context of our identity. You see, because, who would you be if really you didn't have a story to tell? When I was 17, I got married and I went to live in Tokyo, and after this, I sort of like did all these things. And you have no story at all, but you have perception. You have perception, so you can perceive. You have the senses also, so you can perceive. You can speak. But story is like you can't really. Remember, I told you once one man came in satsang and he said, Mooji, I've been listening. We're in satsang. I've been listening, but I'm not able to really, really go inside with what you're saying, because I just have this problem. It's just throbbing away in my mind. I said, what is the problem? He said, because I just broke up from my partner, and it's like the biggest thing. I just can't, And I found myself asking him, tell me something. If I ask you now, what was your problem 3 problems ago? What was the problem strong like this? No? 3 problems ago, can you remember? What was the problem? What was it about? And he was kind of, no, I can't remember. So I said, okay, 2 problems ago. 2 problems ago. What was the problem that was really, really, try and get it back, try and bring it back. Can't do it. Okay, 1 problem ago, just 1 problem just before this girlfriend problem. What was the problem that was really killing you? Can't remember, can't catch it. Then, if that is the nature and the destiny of what we call problems, this also present problem will go. And while it's here, are you choiceless? That you're just a prisoner? There's nothing you can do? Maybe attitude? So everything is by nature. You are forgetting. Even yesterday, if I may ask many people, you remember lunch? What was you have for lunch, and did you enjoy it? Even maybe this morning breakfast. So many things you just forget. So what is your story made of? Why you forget everything else? Why you kept your story? What is so? We're just asking, not judgment about it, because we all have memories now. We all can talk about when I was 16 or when I grew up in this place and so on and whatever. Why is our story so important? Also, you keep the story and the story keep you. Your life is held in your story. It keeps you being in your own mind who you are, or something like that. Then comes a fear even of change, that you may change. I'm just going into this to look at what it is, where does the resistance come from when you begin to inquire. As opposed to if you have a spiritual path, that you're following a spiritual path, of going on pilgrimage or, chanting or, doing some things with incense and bells, very often no trouble comes so much for that. Because your person, your ego is included in your spirituality. It's not threatened. But the minute we begin to look to see if there's a you independent of your ego, trouble starts. Trouble starts. Like a fierce fight to retain your identity as a person. The minute you begin to look at that, you see, the fiercest fight is coming. And the one who is fighting to keep the identity Is he a nice guy? The one who is fighting, fighting. Comes in dreams, come nightmares. Is this who you are? Because many people have been looking through this path. It's called the direct path, the non-dual recognition of the self. As long as you retain egoic identity with you, you're going to find that you keep on finding trouble. Because it needs to keep on feeding on relationships with many different things, not just with people, with things and desires and philosophies and all different things. The ego has the appetite for connection and for feeding in the field of duality, of relativity. So if it is kept, it is always going to give you trouble. It's always going to somehow keep you bound to the idea of personhood. Suffocate, make claustrophobic. This great expanse of being gets completely closed down into personhood. That is the cost. That is the tax for egoic identity.
Can I come and sit?
You can come and sit. I want to keep on a little bit about this thing here because I'd love if someone would do a piece on just the body language of the ego. Not speaking, how the body language is of the ego. All the kind of that we are doing, even if we don't speak, it is speaking through your body language. Our thoughts made manifest through our body language, even without words, even speaking. And even if we try, even if you are sitting still without moving, he's speaking through your vibration. You can go and sit in a space, in a room full of people not speaking, and it's the noisiest place. You can feel the people who are carrying some negative vibration or who are somehow is being spiteful or full of judgment. You pick it up because we are deeply intuitive. We don't admit it because nobody asks you if you go to work, are you a kind of intuitive person? Nobody asks you about it. Nobody wants to know. You don't even know the word very often. So we are looking into this whole thing about ego and why there's attachment so much for ego. Why? I'd like some answer from you. What is the attachment to ego? Let's look together and then we can move more beautifully into the inquiry. Because why? You see, sometimes people are practicing spirituality, searching for the truth. 30, 40 years. Why 30, 40 years? What they're missing? 30, 40 years to find the timeless. What is missing? Because this thing keeps coming back and divides your mind. And you know it's not that. You know it's not him. You're doing very well. You have a beautiful day, a week. A no mind week. A no mind week. Wow, it's like, oh, total spontaneity. And then, I'm back. You know? So, can this guy be evicted or not? See? And how? Because as long as we retain this egoic identity, and what are we talking when we say egoic identity? The nature of ego is deeply selfish, insecure, feelings of insecurity, restlessness, searching for something that is stable, but it itself is not stable. Judgments due to fear, anxieties, worry, strong attachment to bodily life. So therefore, if we are strongly attached to our bodily life, we carry a silent disease the trauma of knowing one day this will be over. If you feel, I am this, whether you talk about it or not, we have a silent disease, a fear, a kind of trauma and a tumor of fear. One day this will be over. When it is over, I am over. Get as much in as you can. You see like this. Something is support a sort of ego. Or maybe this is all I am. This is all that I am. This is all that I am. If I exchange this for something else and it's not better, and I've lost me, I'm really up the creek. I'm finished. What is it that preserves, perpetuates, maintains, and sustains egoic identity? Can anybody tell?
Guruji, it's the competitiveness also, like being good meditator, good self, good person. So there, it's like maybe the search.
But
is
does
not
it start
so
from the beginning? Does it start there? Or is this not the symptom? Does it start there? What is it? Much more intimate than this one.
It's like comfort of the known.
Huh?
It's known.
The comfort, the security in the sense of the knowable. That's one thing. Anybody else? You say?
The thinking or believing I can do it by my own.
The thinking that I can do by myself everything. Okay, that's good. Is there anything better than you can say?
The I itself, I,
Yes.
like manifested in this body, the nature of I moving into experiencing
Yeah.
causes separation. And when like this, if you let it go and you go with it, you identify with I in this experiencing, and this creates something individuality.
Yeah. That is based on the belief, strong belief, I am this body. I am this body, actually. Yeah. Once the I, which itself is not the body, I is not the body, but it needs the body to say, I am the body. The belief, I am the body. No one escaped, by the way. No human being escaped from the beginning. The conditioning that I am the body, not a Jesus, not a anybody. You at first believe this. I am the body. The I am the body base makes the foundation for other beliefs to come. And they pile up on top of the I am the body. This is me, I am the body idea. Okay? And I am the body, then so I'm a woman, I'm a man, and so on. So the I, which is beyond any of these qualities, start to pick up these qualities. Anybody else on the I?
It seems like it must just be, it's enjoyed. There's not enough suffering to want to stop it. It's enjoyed too much to experience.
Okay, let's look at that. The I is enjoyment. The I is enjoyment.
Until there's too much suffering.
Until there's too much suffering. Okay, so what is it enjoying? Is it enjoying just its I-ness? Or it's I am the body?
Yes.
Experiencing.
It enjoys experiencing.
It's kind of creating experience and then enjoying experience.
It's addicted. It's addicted to experiencing. Addicted to experiencing. Okay. Yes.
For me, it's very much habit also.
Habit.
Because I always took myself just to be this person.
Yes.
And any reaction that is needed, often unaware, it comes from this person, and it's not the correct maybe position to take or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that suffering might be endured after or during. Or
At the back, you.
I think something to do with desire, that it's a desire body, and you feel desire the whole time, but
But what perpetuates it? Because you have desire, but does your desires come true?
We think we're somebody.
Huh?
We think we're somebody and we have rights.
We think that we are someone and we have rights. That's a strong one.
Yeah.
I have.
That's where everything starts.
Okay.
Pride and
Pride.
accomplishment
Yes.
and improving the person. You know,
The-
fantasy of evolving.
The pull of evolution, to learn and to get better and to grow. All of this comes through experience. Yeah.
But also I feel that all these things are symptoms of this separation that's created by being the body.
Yes.
And the body, and then the fear comes up with that. And
Let's
not
go
to-
back
not
there,
to fit in,
because
to
first
realize-
thing starts, the first thing must be the belief, I am the body, gets started. Because before that there was not really any belief. There was sensation as an infant, there was sensation, the senses were working, there was, there was response also to warmth or to love or whatever, but the concept had not begun even necessarily of mother and father and doctor and house and life. They don't have this concept, hadn't formed yet. So one of the earliest formed concept must be the concept, I am the body. I am the body, which, everything supports the belief, I am the body in this realm of consciousness, the belief, I am the body. So that's the root feeling, and then after this,
Fear to lose. The fear to die is related straight with
the fear to die comes later. Because many times, I remember when my father passed away, I was about maybe 8. When earlier than that, one of my cousins passed away, and we went to her funeral and so on, looked. And, you have a sense of that, but then when I was maybe about 5 or something, and then father died, and so I had a taste of what to be without. This type of thing, So in the beginning, not the fear of death. That's not the fear of death. Huh?
Separateness, I'm the body, creates the feeling of separateness. And then you start to long for this and people.
Is that the attraction? What perpetuates and gives strength to the egoic identity?
Deep anger.
Huh?
Deep anger, subtle anger.
Yeah, but that's later come. Earlier.
It's the progressive conditioning of the primordial I thought. Different stages.
She said the primordial conditioning of the I thought, the I concept. That comes with all of this, it is the seed that contains all this potential, that once it gets identified with the body, then all these other things can come activated into play. Okay? So, So we are looking into the complexity of the seed thought, I am the body. I am the body. And then all the different strands that runs off this seed thought, I am the body. Okay? That makes the fight to retain identity so strong when you enter this path, because other paths also are claiming to seek the same goal. They are going for the same. They want to be free of egoic, from the hypnosis of egoic conditioning. Okay, they want to be free from egoic influence. They want to be free. They want to search for what they've heard is an eternal life, which is beyond merely bodily life. They're searching for the same thing. Okay. But why is it that as you begin to make serious move, and especially on a path like this non-dual path, which is very naked and very direct like this, why so much resistance come? Why so much resistance is coming? Because a threat to the ego. There's a threat to the egoic existence, and we have the feeling we don't know anything beyond our story and our history. And what can you show me what is there beyond this? And here I said, yes, we can do it right now also. We can show you that what is beyond here is also been every moment you're here. It's not we're going to open up another room and go. No, it's always been, in fact, most of the experiences that's based in the notion of being a person have their source in the self. They have their source in the consciousness itself. because even joy is not sourced in the mind. So we want to look at that. Sorry.
I was graced recently with an experience, medical experience, that stripped everything away. For a period, I was unable to think or do anything for myself. The only thing I could feel was pain. When I became conscious again of the world, I was just left with a deep peace, a joy for just existing. Even people that a week before I hated, when they came to see me, I could only feel love. There were many things for a long period that didn't even exist for me. There was, everything was done for me. I just had to sit and just be the peace and the love. Then the credit card company started to fight. Then the pressure started to come. And the only thing I know in this moment that changed was focus. My attention went to a place that really has no meaning in life. And by grace, we found you this year, and I was able to reconnect with that peace and that love. Not all the time, because the attention drifts. I had a wonderful experience with the online Zima retreat, where this sense of silence was and peace was amplified. My wife and I were watching it together, and we went with your pointings, and we went with all of the agendas that satsang gave us to not communicate, and it was an amazing experience. Then by grace we won the lottery to come to the second Sahaja retreat. We didn't know how we would get here, and my mother gave us enough money to allow us to come spontaneously, not because we'd said it. So the experience was even more enhanced here, and even more joy.
Yes.
And to meet you and to be in your presence has been my deepest joy. I still have to come here when I'm looking at practical things and karma yoga, and sometimes it's very easy for the mind and the people that you're around to just be jokey and your person comes back. But I don't get down on myself for it. I just notice that it's back, and I just be quiet again.
Thank you.
This is all I know.
Very good.
I love you.
Love you too. I want to endeavor to show you something. That's the place that doesn't fluctuate inside you. And that is the promise and the invitation of self-inquiry, to discover the place that doesn't fluctuate. First thing, it's not difficult to do it also. And to show why it is perceived that you lose it. We have enough time before lunch.
Yes.
To do this. I wanted to do this meeting before we went to lunch. But I say, sometimes I sit here, say half an hour, and we have 2-3 hours or something. But what we can do today, what we can do now, and I want to look. This is why I said when you came to me, let's look today again. Because when I listen to you, even in between your speaking, maybe not so conscious about what I'm seeing, I see how often where you are coming from the self, and you're not aware of it. You see, and when you rest again back in the self, you're not aware it is the self. Everything that you are perceiving through the senses and through the mind. So through the senses, whether through smell or touch or taste or whatever, something is aware. The perceiving includes all the functions of the senses. You don't have to do anything for that. It's happening by itself. If the smell of lavender comes through this room, we'll all smell lavender. Even if you don't know what lavender is, you will smell lavender. Okay? You will not be smelling lemons. You smell lavender. Without doing anything for that. You don't have to tune in or nothing. It just naturally you smell lavender. If something happened outside where someone, some explosion happened outside, we all know it. We all hear it equally. No? So leave the senses function. We know that because we don't have to tune in especially or to be managing them. Okay? And then looks also when you say the mind. So any sensation that comes, that is perceived, even the play of thought and memory, any feelings happening in the body, again without moving and without giving any particular attention to it, manipulating or anything, you're aware of it. This is the wonderfulness of the consciousness that we are, just like that. And if there's any change that take place in any region, in the emotions or any sensation or thought, you are aware of it. Spontaneously, naturally, you're just aware of it. This place, which is only the awareness, which is like a space, like an intelligent space, in which all things are perceived or known or recognized, without them having any impact upon that. It doesn't really alter that state. Something else reacts. So there may be an action and a reaction, and both the action and the reaction or interactions are perceived in the same stillness, the same space, which is not doing anything. Just from there, everything arises. All the functions arise there. When you wake up in the morning and your eyes open, you see, even your eyes opening, the awareness of that happens in this space. Eyes closing. Thoughts which are to do with relationships or thoughts which are to do with one's body and so on. All of this is just appearing and disappearing, just like clouds come and go. But the space is not changed. Even the sense, but I can't get it. I just can't get it, Mooji. I hear you speak about it, but it just doesn't go in. Even that perplexity, even the one who is saying, I can't get it, this one is also perceived in it. And even the strength of the identity of the one who is saying, I just don't understand, is also perceived in that background underlying awareness itself. And it is the same for everybody. What is the problem? No one acknowledges that this is the unchanging and that this is where you really are, that this is really yourself. Because it doesn't look like a self. But we think a self is like a person. And this space is like, this is not a person. So basically, that's just, we kind of know it's there. It's behind here somewhere. And the one who is saying, yeah, but I know that's always there. I can go back to that sometime. This one, seemingly speaking, is given the primal reality. Is given the sense of this is the factual, actual me. This is who I am. That's who I potentially am. When I close my eyes, take some deep breaths, let go of the world, I go back to that place. And when I'm in that place, nothing comes me. I'm really just shanty. But, and that's when the but comes. Then these thoughts come, and then I have to go out. So, the one who recedes and goes back into the space, only to come out again, we strongly identify that is who I am. Or a strong identity is moving with that sense of personhood, perceived in the greater presence, which is unchanging. And because the functioning of thinking, of introspecting, that dynamic activity of consciousness is happening more in the manifest self, in the sense of the I am, I exist. Because this I exist feeling comes also from that absolute. That doesn't even need to say I am. To who does it need to say I am to? It is. Okay? But when it manifests in the form, then it announces itself. I am, I exist. I exist in here. It makes the form and then embodies itself in the form and says, I exist in the form. And once it's done that, this I exist seed of consciousness is sprouting everything out. As identity, as ideas about time, past, present, future, things, relationship, belief, disbelief, judgments, fears, anxieties, appreciation, all of these things come vividly into the picture. And that's what we call the dynamic self, meaning the self that lives and has a life. And that is primarily how we know ourselves in the dynamic field. Now, in the dynamic field, the sense I am is there. And the sense I am is the purest, it is the purest feeling or state that arises from that absolute awareness itself, which doesn't move. It does never move. It doesn't grow or shrink. It just always is. It has no size. It's not a thing. But because it is, everything else can appear to be. And from this fundamental state, or stateless state, comes the first movement, which you may call presence, or the feeling I am. And everybody says I am. In every living being, even a mosquito or a worm, they feel that conscious, intuitive knowing that they exist. They feel I am. They know they exist. That I exist seed must be there. But that I exist seed is the first issuing that arises from the absolute. And it's in every living form. It goes there. Then this I exist seed is compelled to believe I am the body I am appearing in. Once it believes I am the body that I'm appearing in, then whatever environment this body is in, it will soak up like a sponge the impressions from that environment. And will begin to believe, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm an atheist. depending on what background. And the collective vibration of whatever area you're living in becomes part of your seed culture. And so that which is formless in the beginning and a seed entering into the body, announcing itself as existence, I am, I exist. And it says this I exist, the sound or vibration or presence is also the name of God. The sense I am is the name of God, and all of us speaking I am. After the feeling, the manifest feeling inside the body, I am, then I am the body, becomes I am this person, I am this type. This is my conditioning, this is my programming, this is how I express in this body. And it expresses as a unique seed, as a unique being, seemingly totally independent and autonomous, meaning that I live by my own light. I live by my own light. I'm not plugged into anywhere. I live by my own light, by my own thinking. Like this comes pride, comes arrogance, comes separation, like this. And all of this is meant to be. First, what is the whole game of the life seems that the consciousness which is pure, the pure breath of God, of the Absolute, takes on all this conditioning, becomes very complex in its manifestation, has desires and fears and hatred, and the full spectrum of interrelated opposites is dancing in this consciousness. And this consciousness has got to sift through and work with all these different impressions and these stimuli to then find its way back to its original nature. And it's not a journey of distance like kilometers, it's a journey of subtlety, a journey of introspection, a journey shaped by experience and learning from experience and growing back into wisdom and recognizing its own source and losing its arrogance and discovering its central unity and its harmony and coming back into the field of its original harmony, finds everlasting joy and recognize that the body which belonged to time is my time aspect, and that will fall as everything in time does. And the mind also, which seems to be limitless itself, is very unstable. And so nothing can be preserved there because it is always changing. And so many things have impact and influence upon the shape of your thinking. Helps it to comes back to its naked state, upon which, when it is recognized, it is liberated forever. Once it recognized again that it can see even the first issuing, the breath of God manifesting even in the form I am, that it comes to a place where it recognizes even the I am itself, then it is in the state of the unspeakable. And all of this is available to be recognized right here, right now. Why? Because suppose you sit in meditation and you find that in your meditation people are like this, and quite frankly most of them are sleeping actually. We call it meditation. People go off sleeping, and then you're walking along some beach picking up pebbles and stuff and drifting. 7 miles you've walked in your drifting. Then at some point in your walking, you're going to go and pick some coconut and drink coconut water and stuff like this. And then you hear, dong dong, meditation bell. Okay? Suddenly you remember, meditation. If you have walked for 7 miles and for 30 minutes, do you have to walk back 7 miles and 30 minutes? Instantly, you're here, isn't it? Instantly, because all of that is dream. In the same way, the self has never suffered from its dreaming. The moment that you recognize again that you've always been looking from here but not aware of it, because from the identity perspective you've been functioning as the identity. So effectively your living is as though you are here, but your living as perception is functioning from there, and you're engaging with the world like this up there. And then suddenly through your satsang you find, but whoa, that I can see the one that I appear to be living from here, and actually that one cannot be without me, because I'm the one looking at all of this.
Guruji, can I share something? The problem is, what is for me is that I try to find it with my mind, and eventually it becomes clearer and clearer that, wait a minute, the seeker is trying to find the seer. So, like, thank you. So this thing where you're looking from, I realize that the one that I'm looking for is always seen. I'm seeing myself struggling with the inquiry. Everything is always perceived. So there's this quote in a bathroom here that says something like, if you find what you're looking for, are you not there? And if you lose what you're looking for, are you not there? And who are you? And it just hits me now that the reason it's so hard to find it's because we think that it's something that it's not. We're looking for it with our minds and struggling to get to there, but in reality what is here is not paid attention to, in a sense.
To the pure self, the mind itself is the object. The deeper self is the one subject. We are looking for the subject with the object and as the object, whereas the object itself cannot find anything, cannot find the subject. It can only imagine the subject. So both the object, seeker, and its projections are both seen in the light of the true self. It has always been here. But that recognition somehow has to happen. It's not enough you say, oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, okay, so that's what... No, something more. Unless you're listening in such a way that you're following every word, so the words become alive in such a way with you that as you're hearing, you're experiencing. And not that you are listening with your mind and hearing and understanding intellectually. There's a difference. If you're hearing, and as you're hearing, you're seeing and seeing and experiencing.
If I ask myself what you're looking for is where you're looking from, it was so obvious after a while that someone is trying to do it, but this is also seen from where...
You see, you Jade, demonstrated it just perfectly just now. You say, if I ask myself, if I tell myself what you're looking for is where you're looking from, then you say it goes upstairs into the mind and something...
well, you see a being, a seeker, trying to find something. It's obvious. It's happening there.
When that happening or non-happening happen, you be quiet. Or you'll be crying, or you'll be laughing. You will not be talking. You will skip a few breaths there. It would be as though some strange taxidermy has happened on you, where you have been scooped out and filled up with emptiness. emptiness walking in the form of a human being.
Mooji, a question which is coming up sometimes. In the context of Hinduism, where we hear of this born and reborn, so something transmigrating. So when we say the identity, or we are afraid, or can be afraid to die, is connected with the body goes. It maybe feels I go when the body goes, but maybe it even doesn't go, and those of you sometimes saying that it looks for another body to come back, or the mind is going into another body. So yeah, what is it? So maybe identity doesn't die actually after one body goes. It looks for another body, and then when this awakening comes, or recognition of the self, then that is the point where it's no more use to look for another body. Is this? I mean, it's explained like this, but yeah, this is.
Is a question you're asking?
Yeah, and now I'm just questioning what again is my question about that. But if it's maybe if it's really like this, so the identity doesn't die when this body goes, and it looks for another body.
It is explained in various ways according to the cultural temperaments and so on of people, but you can put it like that. You can say yes, the body dies, or you can say recycles actually. You understand, because even the elements cannot die. What makes the body cannot die? It just gets moved about. So anyway, the body deconstructs. Let's put it that much, okay? Then you may say the seed of identity, you see, will continue. The details of identity will not, but certain characteristics will somehow move on in a way. So the details will go, because that the details of yesterday is gone, and day before yesterday is even further gone, and then last week is gone, and it's all gone anyway. But something is retained and keeps on appearing each day. A notion of yourself keeps on each day. The quintessence of that notion of yourself, that will somehow, if it has not resolved itself into complete understanding, then it will continue. It will need some kind of instrument, a more grosser body, because even when the body drops, a subtle form of identity will need a subtle form of form to exist in order to retain the sense of individuality. But it will move into another form, not always human actually, but mostly. Whereas those who have completed their realization, then they are not compelled to be on the wheel of the cycle of life in this way, but they can also be reborn, but in a very different way, and not in ignorance. I mean, they will go through some period, I would say, where there's some conditioning, but it will not be able to overwhelm them. And you've heard of the sages being revealed even at 7, 8 years old. I mean, they took 7 or 8 years tax for the human body to take in some conditioning, because it is necessary to have some conditioning in order to have the language to impart true understanding.
It's about the experience that yesterday, it's recent, so you were talking just now also, that when I came to Sahaja, I was feeling like something was in my stomach, and then when I came up, I saw somebody, and she or he mentioned about Papaji, and I literally, the form was in front of me, and experience was very profound, very clear. It wasn't dream, or it wasn't something I didn't see, and it was very clearly there, and he was right there in front of me laughing. And the voice, your voice, I heard that this is also you seeing.
Yes.
And so this revealing of sames. You mentioned this now.
Yeah.
It's happening quite a lot.
The more refined the consciousness become, and it's like the consciousness is raising at much higher altitudes, and it's not anymore molested so easily by the egoic mind. The more we retain strong identity in personhood, then it's very difficult for one to actually be having like visions or encounters, say, with higher beings or beings of a higher state of consciousness. These things will happen more in the state where you are more of a meditative constitution. You know, you're more easily into a meditative state. You're not attached to time, like past, present, future, in any strong way. You're not attached definitely to identity in any really strong way. Some remnants might be there, but it's not playing such a strong influence in your expression anymore. Then these things will happen. These things can happen. Your more intuitive powers are more functioning. You will perceive life in a miraculous way. Like miracles are happening, and they become almost ordinary, actually, in that field. It will not seem like, wow, did you see that? You will just feel, maybe if someone else saw it, they will go, wow, did you see that? And like this, so, yeah.
The impulse comes to say wow and go with it.
Yes.
But you always guide it. And
yeah. Yeah. The joy can be experienced, of course, and joy will be experienced. Deep peace is experienced. And I encourage people not to say, oh, get rid of that because it can be seen. Don't get rid of anything any more than you need to get rid of the fragrance of a flower. They exist as one thing. So, of course, the joy and peace and inner silence and the wisdom and open-mindedness, openness, all of these are the fruits of a true mind, of the pure mind, in fact. Yeah.
At the same time, there is also fear to share with anyone.
Yes, so therefore keep quiet about it. And then so in the Sangha field, it should be, and you can actually see and feel more an intuitive correspondence with people. If you're in the right environment, you know that your tongue is just let loose in the most beautiful way. Not for chit-chat, actually. But then you find that the words that come, or just how your whole being is immersed in this beautiful presence. And it's very, very natural, very spontaneous things will exchange between each other will happen. And full of joy also. And fresh, because very often, as I say, you will hear words coming out of your own mouth that are not usual words you would speak. And you're hearing them for the first time yourself also. And even admiring, say, my God, that was really important, I should write it down, this thing.
Yes, many things that you say are happening, spontaneity, intuition, words coming out.
Yeah.
And the inquiry goes as far as there's awareness of the breath.
Yeah.
There is awareness of the breath.
Yeah.
And I want to check with you because I'm just here a few more days. I so want to expose everything, be here, now, and then there is this thought, and ego is easy to dismiss. It says all kinds of things. I want to go home. You know, I'm cold. All of that story. I don't care. I don't care, Mooji. So the inquiry goes as far as there's awareness of the breath.
Yeah. We are just catching up with nature. We say you're becoming more spontaneous as nature is. Nature doesn't have to try and be spontaneous. It doesn't know the word spontaneity at all. It just is. So we are discovering something is moving more spontaneously because we're coming out of non-spontaneity. You are discovering, peace and this great expanse of silence because you're coming out of thought molestation. As you're coming out, you're coming into your natural self. You're coming just into your natural powers, actually. That's always been there as the rest of life functions. It is beautiful innocence. It is there. But what is fantastic about happening in the human form is the consciousness can manifest in such a complex and not complicated, but much more, you may say sophisticated, not a good word, I don't like this word, but it is so profound in its self-recognition. Mm-hmm.
So this is the point at which I go quiet, and I want to check with you that this quiet is not a subtle ego blank out. And also questions come like, well, if you're awareness, you should be able to see in 360 degrees, and I just say, I don't know anything.
This is good. I don't know anything, because really the truth is there is nothing really to know in a way, you see. This is why when if I say that God doesn't know anything, some people might go, wow, that's the most arrogant thing. I said, no, because there's nothing other than God to know, for God to know. You see, I mean, it just means that somehow in that state of unicity, the fragmented mind and all of the things of to know something means it's different from you. In the field of total harmony, the urge to know and to study, and it becomes more weak, and it's replaced by just a great harmony. It's much more truthful and beautiful to experience the existence in and as a harmony than as things you know. Because what remains as you know remains separate from you, and only builds a kind of arrogance. I know something. Who is it that calls Socrates great? A man who admitted, I know nothing. Who then called him great? It must be someone who at least understood his state to say, this is great. Because if Socrates had gone around and says, I am great, nobody would know him. But somebody said, he is great, he's the wisest man in the world. No? Who said that? Must be somebody pretty much equally wise. Who said it?
It was his friend who said he went to see the oracle in Delphi, and he said, everybody thinks they know something, but at least this man, my friend, knows he knows nothing.
Yeah. But then who called him the wisest man?
And this priest, actually. And then Socrates was surprised. He said, what? Me, wisest? I know nothing. So he went around to
Yeah, but he knew that much.
Socrates said, if I am the wisest man in Athens, it is because I know I do not know anything.
Yeah. But that much he knew. Because then if he heard somebody say, this man is the wisest man in the world, he cannot pretend like, I don't know what they're talking about. He knows what they're talking about.
It could be humor.
Yes, I mean, he's not dumb. It's not like he's going, I don't know anything at all. No. And it's not like he knows lots of things. No, but he had a fundamental understanding that language, that the truth is so unitive, that nothing exists outside of it for it to know. You must know this much. I've never studied the guys, so I don't know what they mean, but from my own way of looking, it must mean this much.
Sorry, Guruji. I failed to recognize your pointing before. Okay. Can you please...
Which one? Which part?
You told me something about being quiet.
You don't understand what it means to be quiet?
Well, I know there was more than that. No, I failed to see something. I failed to something I'm not getting.
If you're really quiet, you'll find out what it is that you failed to see. In fact, it is not a joke if you say that this. We told you the story about the Buddha and the man who came to challenge him. That's such a beautiful account. And I asked someone, I think it was Prabha, I asked her, you don't speak for two days. Where is she? When did I ask this? Sunday? Today's what? Today's Wednesday. Okay, you can say something today. Did you speak for 2 days?
No, I didn't speak.
Did you think for 2 days?
I did my best to not engage with the thoughts.
Okay.
The thoughts were like really pounding, but I really did my best.
You succeeded.
I feel I did my best, yes. I don't know.
No, it is like this, because if, say, for instance, that I told you, you stay home today, don't open the door to anybody. And the people came pounding on the door. First they start, burp, burp, nothing. Bang, bang, bang. And you're in there. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. Poof, poof. Then I ask you, did you succeed? You would say yes.
Yeah, something kept looking and kind of opening, and then when it was realized that was happening, it just backed away. That's what kept happening again and again. It was like small.
So how was these 2 days? It was all in defending the fort?
By last night, something had cleared away, but it was very strong mental activity, but it was mostly defending, but then in the end, just
Supposing it was that all the people in this room were going to shout at you, they're going to shout at you. You stupid woman, you shouldn't have done this, yeah, what do you think you are? And I told you, you just keep quiet. And you just keep the peace that I show you in your heart. Could you do it?
if you tell me yes.
I tell you.
Yes.
And they're telling you, yeah, what you think you're doing. I know you think you're smart, you're not smart. I know you think you're free, you're not free. You're never gonna get the self. Could you survive this?
Who is even there to survive?
Huh?
Who is even there to survive?
We will see. Yeah. I want to hear more from you though at some point, but tell you what to say.
I feel like the last few days I've had a strong urge to come, like something has to change, and it's not, I don't have to keep this idea that it's impossible, that I'm stuck, that I can give myself another chance. And I feel everything has been spoken today, it's also about what's happening here, like making the stories and something which is holding on to identity, and this seed of identity which I feel is carried on. And what I see in this seed is this working?
Yeah, don't try. Yes.
I feel like I had this chance. I've been called.
Speaking, yeah.
I've been called by you before, and I turned back, and I did this again.
I'm going to give you today's instruction now. Forget about all the past
I
instructions.
just have to tell everything before. I just feel like this. Like something turned back out of fear. And also I saw this, if I let go of the body, I saw that the connection with the body will go. And then this fear like, oh, I'm losing all the fun, and they will all have fun and I will be just watching and this thing.
But have you been having fun?
No, actually. It came, this stupid thing came, and then I felt I lost my chance. This was my chance, and then shame and guilt and the feeling that I lost my chance, and then some kind of stubbornness to come to you and to, I don't know, some stubbornness and resistance, and now I'm just like doing this to myself.
Maybe you are one of the God's examples to come here and everything about your life is a failure. Everything, nothing works. So you just come home. But we're going to leave your body here. Okay? You just come home. Because not everything you touch turns into some rubbish. Everything. And just accept, you know what? You didn't do anything wrong. Okay? It's just that your life seems to be playing like this.
Yes, but I think I have to be done something wrong. Why should it be such a mess if it's like...
You leave all of this now, see? Leave everything. You don't exist here. You don't exist for this world, for that world. This is not you. You don't exist. You're trying to do something in that world, and everything you do is not going to work. You are so lucky, but you don't know you're lucky. You see?
I feel I don't have any power over it. It's just something behaving like this, very stubborn, exactly as you say.
Yeah, well, you don't have to. You have to now try. Forget about. Don't stop identifying with this. You picked up somebody else's life. You were supposed to come here, flying and stuff, and then you come out, somebody grabbed and you picked up someone's life, and you're living all this. What's this stuff? Is this all going wrong? It's all miserable and everything. And somebody got a freebie, like, oh, she got it. You come as a fallen angel, then you have to drop everything and be home. I'm serious. Just forget all about it. You keep taking ownership of all this stuff that is not yours. And see, what have you done? You're so sweet and so beautiful in so many ways. And carrying around this bloody story. You know, losing all this energy. I said, why? I said, let me take a look. I can't find anything. Sometimes people go to doctors, you know. Oh, I'm dying. Doctor, nothing is wrong with you. Look. I don't find anything wrong with you. Something is believing in this. Which is probably what we're all doing, believing a lot in this. But you demonstrated very vividly.
Can I say something about the resistance? Because it was like very strong for me a long time, and as Sam just said, if you have to drop it, you drop it. And there was one that I dropped it, and it came back recently, and I realized it's just a feeling. And if I don't follow it, and if I don't give identity and power to it, it will just be gone. And if it's there, and I'm not paying attention, it's fine. It doesn't mean anything.
Identity is at the root of all of this, not the things. The identity can keep producing stuff has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. And it says, you know, like, you know, okay, you know, you're a great grandmother. Betrayed Jesus. Oh, why? How can I remove this curse? Oh, you bought it. You buy it. Start to look into ancient books to see if you can find something. Because you have no way of proving the thing. The devil won't have to say, yes. And you're running around, oh my God, oh my God, I've been cursed for 15 generations.
It's like this, it's like I go past somebody and I look at them and the mind says, "You're so arrogant.
Yeah.
How you look at this person?" And it's like, what to do? It's like, I immediately, oh my God, how to change this? But I can see somehow that it's just lies because I don't do anything wrong. I even can see I'm not mean, but I imagine I'm the worst person.
Yes, and he's living in your head, this guy, and he feeds on this food, the food of your self-mortification. You know, you keep beating yourself up, judgments and guilts and fears. That's his food. No, you have to starve him out now. Don't give him any time he speaks all these things. You just rubbish. Go back your way.
And when I come to you, also it says like, Mooji can see you're so mean, you're evil, you're hiding something very dark, and
he's speaking about himself.
To you. Yes.
He's speaking about himself and trying to get you to believe it. And like a fool you have.
It's a projection.
You see? Believe all these things. I mean, who is thinking all these thoughts? Making all these decisions?
We don't believe it.
Hmm?
I said we don't believe it, David.
Yeah. We only believe our own stuff. We are all experts in other people's problems. Is that what you're worried about? Go, darling, and be free. And bless you. One day later, oh my God. What's happening with you? But you're the one who healed me. Oh, please go away.
Just one more thing. I've been trying so hard, like, to purify myself, and I've been trying, like, going to the temple and really praying and beating myself up. Can I stop this?
Can you stop this?
I'm asking you.
Of course. Are you not listening? You have to stop this. We're all with you.
I have such love for God, and I'm like fighting myself to win back my, like, to deserve to love God.
Yeah. But he's never pushed you away. Just wanted to see who you would listen to. You know the story it said of the story of Job, a man in the biblical times. Huh? It said that Job had everything. He had so much. He had a family and everything, and he had a lot of cattle and great wealth and everything like this. No, so it's said that in the heavenly realms, God, is there and speaking with the all the God beings, and saying, "Look at my servant Job. I'm so pleased with him. He's so happy. He always is devoted to me and worshiping me." And this, And then Satan is there too, and he says, "Can I say something?" oh yes, okay, okay, Belzy, say something. Actually, of course he's good, because you shower him with your grace, you give him everything. Of course he's going to praise you, but let him lose this thing and see if he'll praise you. You see? What are you talking about? No, listen. Give him to me for a little bit, okay? And then see if he will still praise you. So God scratch his beard. Okay. I give you a time with him, but you must not kill him. So Belzy says, "Yeah, I've been waiting for this." And so all kind of bad things happened to Job. Lost his family, all the cattle, everything, and covered in sores and stuff. And then his friends were with him and says, "What happened to you? What a great curse has befallen you. Why you keep talking to God every day?" And says, "Father, well, I'm nobody. I don't know what I've done and everything, but thankfully I have you. You always my God." But what has he done for you? Look what happened. Took all your stuff, Yes, he gave it to me in the first place. It's up to him to take what he wants. Isn't it? So maybe it's like this, something, say, okay, you're with me. You're my own. But I'm going to let him come and talk in your head and see if he can ruin your love for me.
No.
Because we said like this sometimes. Also, someone say, I hate being woken up. I just hate being woken up like this. I said, no. God wake you up like this. It's God who wake you up. All we see is God who wake you up. And just get up and say, thank you. Yeah, those are my neighbors. What happened with all this music? Why am I playing all this music? There's people banging on a bloody wall. I said, no, it's God. There's God banging on the wall. He says, darling, get up. Don't take it personally. Someone, no? Like this. If you're ever thinking like this, there's no trouble for you. God wake you up. Okay. Very good for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Very good. So we don't want to encourage any story, because lots of terrible things can come with stories. Rather, I want to empty, be really empty, so that only divinity speaks, divinity acts. So when it's not the person, then only divine is moving through you. You see, and this is what the inquiry is doing also, stripping away the person and showing you that, listen, without this person obsession, you're even more whole, more full, more complete, more happy. And it's not promising you that, look, if you do this for the next 6 months, I promise you in 1 year you'll be free. No, it says this is the tree that bears immediate fruit. As your attitude change inside, the fruits are manifesting for you. You see that without all these projections and things simply just happening, your life becomes miraculous, as it has always been, but we miss it because your focus is on something else. You're experiencing your focus. And once you come into the richness, the fullness of that, you don't want to go back to using your mind in the way that, in misusing, overthinking, trying to figure out life and torturing yourself with all these things. You just realize, but wait a minute, life takes care of life. I am life. And it's not make-believe. Make-believe only comes when you're waiting for some result. But you are the result. You are the sadhana and you are the fruit of the sadhana. So there's no place, no crevice, no cracks for evil to hide. Unless you want to be, you're holding something. And if you do, something here or there is going to keep pressing your little sore, busting some pus, kick you in the knee until you, yes, actually, I've been lying from my knee, actually. Something was going on. And it's not about speaking the truth, or not that type of over moralistic thing, but the truth that arises from love, from harmony. Okay. Thank you. So much. Too much. This is the group that complains about too much love, too much joy, and try to give it away. Nobody wants it.
Thank you.